Hey Nomads, thank you so much for checking out this video. This is my latest Listen and React. And this one is a special treat for me at least because I'm going to be listening to my favorite band, Radiohead. Now, this is an interesting song because it is pretty sparse. There's not a lot, but there will be a lot to talk about. But it's a very sparse song. So I think it's a masterpiece, as are so many of their Radiohead songs. So I'm going to roll my theme song, and then we're going to kick off into this thing, huh? Stick around. A band with just one dude, no reason to fret. I'll play with myself, it's Nate's one-man duet. Yeah. All right, so as I said in the intro, this song is pretty sparse on purpose, right? There's minimal instrumentation through most of it. So let's just go ahead and play a little bit of it, and then I'll stop and kind of explain a little bit of what's going on. It's interesting how that song starts on with like this big kind of intake of breath, I think is what that is on a really hot mic. So you probably heard right off the bat that the vocal is really intense. There's a way to record where you get what's called a hot mic, where the gain and volume is up really loud, so you can be right up on things. And it gives such a presence. And that's really what this song is all about, is this presence. So it starts off with just one guitar and the vocal, and it's really haunting. And I mean, I just love the way that Radiohead is recorded. And this is such a great example. So, okay, here we go.
Come on, you think you drive me crazy, well, come on.
So there's also some like not chanting and not a choir per se, but kind of like oh, real far back in the background. In fact, I don't know that I had ever. It becomes more apparent later on in the song, but it's even here in the beginning. The other thing is that this song has a really interesting and different chord progression. A lot of times when you're listening to songs, especially if they're written in a pretty traditional way, the chords won't really surprise you. Your ear almost kind of anticipates what's going to happen. Sometimes it's like, I kind of know this song even before I've heard it. That is not the case with this song. This song is kind of taking some turns with the chord structure that you do not anticipate, which I kind of like. It's interesting.
Come on, you and you and your.
Isn't it interesting that, again, the way that it's recorded, just those guitar strums on the downbeat, and it's just kind of keeping that steady but very sparse sound. And then it really allows that vocal to kind of punch through in a really powerful way. There's that weird chord change.
Come on, Holy Roman Empire. Come on if you think, come on if you think you can take us on. You can take us on.
All right, so here's where things start to change, right? You heard the bass come in. And if you're listening under headphones, which I highly recommend, it's got such a presence, right? I'm going to keep coming back to that word presence because that's really what this song is all about. That bass I want to say booming, but it's not like booming. It doesn't have that like bass hit that, like I think of like Black Eyed Peas or hip hop artists get that great, like, booming bass. It's not booming like that, but it's just fat. It's a thick, nice, juicy, thick tone to the bass is really great. And it almost starts to sound a little bit like a jazz number at that point. I would be interested to see if he might actually be playing the old, like, stand-up string bass like you would see in an orchestra, just because the sound is so powerful. The other thing that I wanted to point out was he earlier I talked about he's just kind of hitting those strums on the guitar, but every once in a while he'll kind of pick it out. It'll be dun, dun, da, 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 da. And when they choose to do that, it's, again, this is what I think the genius of this band is like, it's that artistic choice, right? I just love it. So great. All right, so the song is, you can kind of hear what's going to happen. The song is going to build in intensity, and it gets to a really awesome place. So, boomy, right? I also love the tone that the vocals take on. He's running it through. I don't know if it's an effect or if he might be like, it almost sounds like he might be singing it through a megaphone, but that's not quite it. I don't know exactly what that is, but hats off to the sound engineers. Radiohead has always recorded so beautifully, and this song is no exception. So again, now we got the guitar, we got the bass. There's still some of the oohs way, way, way back in the mix. Again, you pretty much have to be listening on headphones to hear any of it. And everyone else is just waiting. But you'll hear what's going to happen. Right there. All right, so the drum comes in, like, I stopped it right as it was going to come in. So the drum comes in, and then that piano. Again, everything is recorded in such a thick way. That piano is super hot, too. Like, all of the instruments are recorded super hot, including the vocals, which we've talked about. I just love how it builds in intensity, and then when he gets to the lyric, "We ride tonight," or "We ride at night," something like that, it's my favorite. I love that part of the song. So yeah, again, I love that part. The vocals just are soaring, as are so many of Radiohead. This guy is an incredible vocalist. He's got an incredible range. But it's also interesting to hear some of the vocal work that they're doing. There's some harmonies that are interesting choices. Harmonies and writing all of those parts are not my specialty. But that didn't sound like a traditional. So typically harmonies are written at the third and the fifth, typically above or below. These guys are so advanced musically. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not doing something more, advanced with like music theory. They're picking out different notes in the scale. But again, it adds to that kind of haunting, not disjointed per se, but it's like right on the edge of like, it doesn't sound like you would normally anticipate, right? Earlier we talked about like anticipating chord changes and such. I think this song does a lot to defy expectations. It doesn't do what your ear thinks it's going to do. And so that has this kind of unsettling effect. But then also it's just got this groove. I don't know about you, but like this song just moves me, right? It moves, my body wants to move and jam to that piano part and the drums and everything. It's so cool. And then some really cool stuff is going to happen here in just a moment. It's built up to this wonderful thing, and then it's going to drop back down, you know, as a lot of music does that. Will take you on that kind of roller coaster ride. So keep an ear out for that. So again, there was that drop, and it ends up, interestingly, they don't return to the guitar, which started the song. They go to the piano. Now, it doesn't go as crazy and loud and animated as it was when it first came in. It drops back in what it's playing, and you're left with the lead, Ghost Horses. And then there's again, an interesting harmony. It might just be octaves. Ghost horses. Maybe something like that. But the way it all comes together is so awesome. Ghost horses. I think it is an octave. And I think that's it, right? Yep, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and fade out. Not Street Spirit Fade Out, which is another excellent song by Radiohead. But yeah, so that's, what is this song? You and Whose Army, which I just love the name of that song too. So that's my breakdown of this masterpiece, this awesome song by Radiohead, one of my favorite bands. I hope you've enjoyed all the breakdown and the things that we've been talking about here. And in the comments, let me know what you think. What sticks out to you? What things do you notice? Do you hear something that maybe I missed or didn't mention? I'd love to hear what you guys think. So here's where I'm going to real quick give you a blurb and spiel, as I like to say. I'm going to ask you to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, check out all my different social media stuff going on. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you later.